Happy Tuesday! Ooh, I forgot again. Hold on. Always forget to plug in this one thing. Oh, there we go. It is Tuesday, July 25th already. Let me, so I'm streaming to 2 spots on Facebook. I'm just gonna double check that everything is popping up okay? Because, you never know. And if you are here, let me know in the comments. I'm gonna give it a few seconds for people to pop on. Where did I go live? Ah. Let's see here. Oh, okay, so I see 2 thumbs up. Oh, here we go. Brenda is here. Hello, Brenda. Oh, you're on YouTube. Yay! Let me hide some. If you guys saw my back end panel, you'd be like, ah, all these little windows. Hi, Brenda. How are you? Hope you're doing good. Let me just. Is the sound okay, Brenda? Could you give me a thumbs up if the sound's okay? We've been having a mic issue lately where I'm getting like an echoey sound, but that's because 2 mics are picking up, whereas one should be muted. So let me know. Katrine's here from Belgium, and yes, please do introduce yourselves too and let me know where you're joining us from. And we have GNB says hello. And Kathy, how is it almost August already? I know, right? I think like January, February, March all the way up until now kind of just disappeared. All of a sudden we were July and now we're going into August. It's crazy. Sandra, I see you from Facebook. Hello, hot Florida. It's hot everywhere, right? Yeah. It is bonkers. And then we have Brenda's at work. Ooh. Are you on lunch break? Hope we're not intruding on your work time. And let's go. Oh, Nancy, thank you so much. Nancy's from Amherst, New York. Yes, thank you. You do know I do enjoy coffee. Thank you very, very much. And let's see if we have Robin's here from Williamsburg. Susan's joining us from Facebook. Katrine said sounds okay. Awesome. Love that. Oh, Rhonda made it. Hi, Rhonda. And Janine's here from Hot Texas. Okay, so I know I'm inside the EPP Society. Very good. Let me see. Come on. See. And if you're watching from... Oh, Janet, I see you. I just logged into Facebook to see if you could give me permission to see your name here. I just posted the link in the comments. It's going to ask you to give Ecamm Live permission for me to see your name here on Facebook, since I am streaming to Facebook from an outside source. So I'm not technically inside Facebook. Sasa's here. Hi, Sasa. I think that was Janet. Yes, Janet. Ta-da! So I'm looking on 2 screens. Let's see, and Sandra's here from Texas. Ooh, and Rodney Ann. So good to finally catch you live. We're so glad you made it live. Yay! Let's see. Okay, and then I should also be on the English paper piecing page. Let me just hop on there real quick, see if anyone's having any issues. English paper. Okay. Where the thing? Oh, there we go. Let's see if I pop up there. No, I don't see it. That is okay. We'll figure it out. So I'm on YouTube and inside the EPP Society, so that's a good start. Woohoo! So I know we crossed 25K in the EPP Society. Can you believe it? Have you guys seen? I saw the numbers cross over and I was like, it's official. We are at, technically we are at how many members now? Because we don't want to celebrate right when it crosses 25K, right? Because people leave and come and go. So I wanted to wait until it was a steady number above 25K before actually like, we reached 25K. Let's see. So we're at how many members? Exciting. I love how so many new folks are jumping into English paper piecing too. So we're at 25,151 in the group as of right now, Tuesday, July 25th. And we got more people waiting to get into the group too. So exciting. Can't believe it. Let's see. Hi Randy. Oh, you missed the last few. That's okay. I mean, I think summertime, everyone's busy, you know, you get together with family, friends, you're traveling, vacationing. Schedules are like little off, like we don't know what weekday it is, or it's just me. So that's totally okay. So no worries. And let's see. Oh, Nancy's had rain on and off lately. Wow, lots of rain, huh, for this year. And I'm surprised. I think we're on week 2 or 3 of triple digits, and there's a couple more weeks coming. So I think that's record for number of weeks where we're actually like in the triple digits continuously, and it's no fun. So if you want to experience it, come visit California right now. And if you don't, then stay away. Let's see. Oh, celebration emojis! Yay! Yay! And Jenny made it today. Hello, I am joining from Oregon today. I scheduled a vacation travel days to have a down day today so that I could watch this live. Oh, yay! We're so glad you're here. So, like I was saying, our group is growing like crazy, and lots of new folks are new to English papers. English paper piecing in this EPP society where I'm streaming to right now too. And then if you're unfamiliar with what EPP is, we're going to give you a little quick 101 into EPP today with the shape that's usually I would say like 95% the shape that people get into English paper piecing with. I could be wrong, but if usually when I ask what shape got you into EPP is usually the hexagon, right? So I thought I'm gonna give you a little quick demo on thread basting and glue basting hexagons, because thread basters and glue basters are all welcome in the EPP society. We don't discriminate based on glue basting or sewing or basting methods in general, right? I started thread basting when I first started EPP, and then I turned to glue basting when I tried it out and liked that much better. If you prefer thread basting, that's totally okay too. So no judgment, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and switch it my camera, make sure that's in the right spot. Okay. Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I feel like I'm in that phone commercial. Can you hear me now? Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? Ta-da! I see the sound bars moving. Can you hear me? MacBook, microphone. Let's try. Can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, I'm getting thumbs up. So make yes, yeah. Oh, yes. Okay, I'm getting thumbs up, so I'm gonna assume that you can hear me. Yay! All right. So I'm not sure what the rule is for hexagons in scrapbooking, but here in English paper piecing, where we use these paper templates to make our pieces, right? We measure hexagons based on, if you guys want to tell me in the comments first. Does anybody know? Yes, yes. Teresa, hi everyone, I can hear you, love it. And Connie says, yes, yes. Okay, sound is good now. Woohoo! And if you let me know in the comments, how do we measure a hexagon? Do we go across or do we measure by a side? Assuming that it's an even-sided hexagons, right? Obviously, there are irregular hexagons that don't all have the same size, same length size, same size length. That's like a confusing. Same size. Oh my God. What would you say? Same side length. Yes, same side length. So what do we measure a hexagon by? So in English paper piecing, the best way to do is by measuring the side. Always stick to measuring the side. Do not go across. Thank you, Susan. Yes, side. We say hexagon side, right? Equal sides. Yes. Maybe I need like more coffee or something. So I have 4 hexagons laid out here. We have a 1/2 inch hexagon. And how do we know that it's a 1/2 inch? If you take a ruler, you measure across one of the sides if it's 1/2 inch. Oops, I line that up. There we go. And a hexagon, an equilateral hexagon, is always double the width from tip to tip. So if this is 1/2 inch right there, from the tip to tip, point to point, it should be 1 inch, right? And then if we put that right there, ta-da, 1 inch. Okay? And then let's go to 3/4 inch hexagon. So the sides are 3/4 inch. I'm gonna put that ruler right there. Make sure the camera zooms. Focus. Right there. And then it should be 1.5 inches across from tip to tip, right? You see that? So it's always double the measurement from the side on a hexagon, okay? And 1 inch. Because I see this question over and over. How do you measure a hexagon? How do I know what size hexagon I have or I need? So you see 1 inch side. See there, right there, 1 inch. And they're all 1 inch. I'm just gonna quickly go around. You can see that. And then since it's 1 inch on the side, it should be 2 inches across from tip to tip, right? Because we said double the measurement. 2 inches. Right there. This is like reversed. There we go. And then for the big hexagon, it'll be easier to tell. So we have a 1.5 inch hexagon. See how the side is 1.5 inches? 1.5 inch. So this one is an equilateral hexagon. So it has all the same side lengths. They're not uneven, right? And so since this is a 1.5 inch hexagon, it should be how big from tip to tip? Pop quiz. You can see here there's a lag. Wait, they're mighty quiet all of a sudden. Hello! So since this is 1.5 inch, double the measurement. I see something. Yes, there we go. Ta-ding! Cha-ching! Oh, no, not cha-ching, but we do. Or I think, what's this one? Yes, that one, we like it. 3 inches. Teresa got it first. Love it. So it's 3 inches from tip to tip. So easy to remember. Whatever this side length is, from tip to tip is double. So now you know your hexagons, okay? So even if someone tells you, oh, the hexagons I have, they're 3 inches from tip to tip. Tip to tip, tip to tip. Then you know, oh, it's a 1.5 inch hexagon you're talking about. So this way it'll be easy for you when you're shopping for hexagons or even for those punches, right? And these are the hexagon punches from Fiskars. So they got these three. They're called extra large, large, and medium. Why? Do not ask. So the medium is the 1/2 inch hexagon punch. And I just checked on Amazon. It's currently out of stock. It's been out of stock for a while. I think it must be really popular. And then we have the 3/4 inch, which is the large hexagon punch from Fiskars. And then we also have the 1 inch, which is the extra large punch from Fiskars. And these two are still available on Amazon. And you can, if you're in the US, they carry them. I've seen them at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's has them. So there's quite a few more shops you could check out. Oh, and lately I've seen it at Target quite a few times too in their craft section, which is getting bigger and bigger, by the way. So there's something telling you that more people are getting into crafting, I think, especially when Target starts to expand their craft section, right? So those are the hexagons that we have. So I'm gonna take my 1.5 inch hexagon here just to show it on a bigger scale. And then we usually have a 1/4 inch or a 3/4 of an inch seam allowance. It all depends on your preference. So if I take my hexagon, let me just glue it down so it doesn't move. And yes, I do love to use regular good old school glue, but you can use those glue pens too, whatever your fancy is. There's no, right or wrong way, I think. You can use these, so get fabric stuck there. I'm just gonna slap this down here. I'm gonna put it in the center just to show you what I mean with the different seam allowances. So it's all a matter of preference, right? Oh, hi Sandra! And Joanna guessed 3, Connie 3, see, everyone's super smart. Love it. So I could take 1/4 inch, see how that says 1/4. Let me focus right there. I'm just gonna draw a 1/4 inch around it so you can see. Most of the time I prefer a 1/4 inch seam allowance, but a lot of folks prefer 3/8 of a seam allowance, so it's all just a matter of preference. And again, no right or wrong choice. But I think if you go bigger than the 1.5 inch hexagon like this, then you might want to try 3/8 of an inch seam allowance just to give you a little more wiggle room in case your paper template move inside the fabric circumference, right? And then let me take the black pen here and mark the 3/8 of a seam allowance. So it's slightly bigger, gives you more wiggle room. So like I said, just a matter of preference. No right or wrong way. And most of the time I actually like to be rather, not like anally exact, but kind of more precision seam allowance if I can, because I like a neat back side too of my project, because it just looks really nice and clean when you pop out all the papers and all your seam allowances are even and nice on the back side too, right? But if you don't mind, then yeah, you can just eyeball it. So we have 1/4 inch seam allowance on the inside and 3/8 of an inch seam allowance on the outside. So like I said, it's all a matter of preference. I'll cut the 3/8 of an inch first so you can kind of see. Like so. And if you haven't tried it out all yet, then try both. See which one you like better. And like I said, for the smaller the template, 1/4 inch will obviously work well. Like let's say for the 3/4 and 1/2 inch hexagon, I would definitely stick with 1/4 inch seam allowance, because 3/8 of a seam allowance, it's gonna cover up a lot, right? Unless you're like, I can only do 3/8 of an inch, then do it. But you're gonna get a lot of bulk, especially on the 1/2 inch hexagon. But here, for the 1.5 inch hexagon, the 3/8 of a seam allowance is not bad, right? It's a good amount of fold over. Ooh, Teresa said, my son bought me a box of the glue sticks for $1. Ooh, what a steal. Love it. And Brenda asked, does the school glue stick stick too much, making it harder to remove? Only if you put too much. We learned that the hard way, right? I think any glue, if you put it too much, it kind of sticks and gets globby. But see, notice how my glue stick is kind of looking pointy, like so. So it's not flat. So I never glue flat completely like that. I'm always gluing at an angle, and I go around as I glue, so I end up getting that pointy tip. So whether I use a big glue stick or a glue pen, I end up getting similar amounts of glue on the paper as I'm going around. So even for the glue pen, I would never recommend gluing straight down. Always glue a little bit at an angle, so you get more of a precision line. So this is the 3/8 of a seam allowance. And I could trim it down now if I prefer 1/4 inch. And since I glued my paper to my fabric already, notice how it's not moving. So my seam allowance is staying exactly the same on all sides of the hexagon. So this is a good way to ensure that you get evenly amount of seam allowance all the way around. So this one, I can show you my glue stick here. Ta-da! And then one thing you want to look out for is not to put glue on the end. I'm going to put a little extra just so you can see on camera how much glue I put. But you don't need to put this much. So do as I say, not as I do. So see the glue and see how I avoid putting it right on the tip. If you get some on there, don't worry about it. Just keep on practicing so that you don't get it on the end of the paper here, okay? And then notice how I went all the way with the glue on the seam allowance on the fabric too, right? Like so. And that is only because when I fold it over like this, it kind of holds the seam allowance down there too on the corners. And they won't flop up. See right there and right there. And I like to go clockwise and put glue on the fabric and on the paper and on the fabric, and I keep on going around. So another good tip is when you're basting and you're folding the fabric over, don't pull it too much, because then you might end up distorting the fabric if you're pulling too much and your paper gets bent, right? Just kind of feel where the edge of the paper is and just fold it over. You don't have to like tug on it, okay? And then we keep on going like so. And keep on going. And if you get glue on your fingertips, we wipe those on our pants. No. Yes. I mean, it's washable glue, right? So if I wipe it off on my pants, it'll come off in the wash anyhow. One of the perks. So there we go. One glue basted 1.5 inch hexagon that is 3 inches from tip to tip with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, and let's do one thread basted. And I'm gonna close this up. And this one, I'll go rogue and I'll even eyeball the seam allowance. Oh. And put that on top here. And I'll eyeball a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Let's see if it works. See, right? Yes, that is why we use washable glue. You can just wipe it off on your pants and then just wash it. I'm gonna cut that. See. Zoop. Let's see. Okay, so we're all the way around. And I grabbed some red thread. Oh, here we go. So that it'll stand out for you. This is Cosmo by Lucian. This one is 40 weight, so it's a little thicker. But their thread is really nice too. Comes in a lot of different colors. And red is good because it'll show up when I thread baste, right? So I like to take the seam allowance and kind of fold it over and do a finger crease. And then go to the next seam and just fold it over. See, like that? So fold one side and go to the next side and fold it down. And then you want to take your needle and thread. I have a knot on the end of mine. You don't need to have it, but I like to have a knot. Doesn't have to be a pretty knot, just a knot. And see how the seam allowance is folded on top of each other here? Fold and fold. So you want to hold it down in the corner. Come here. And do one more stitch just to secure that little corner. Oops, almost lost it. So then your first corner is secure. So we keep on going around. Finger press it a little bit. So when I first started EPPing, I was hooked on 1/2" hexies, and I thread basted like a gazillion of them because I just got hooked. There we go. And we don't cut the thread in between, right? We just keep on carrying it over here. We travel with the thread. Come in. And do another stitch. Like so. And I just keep on going. So you can either thread baste or glue baste, your preference. And if you're new to EPP, try both. See what you like. There we go. And I got 2 more corners to tack down here. And if you do decide to thread baste, you don't have to use any fancy thread at all. You can just use whatever is laying around the house that you don't know, like, is this polyester or cotton thread? Doesn't really matter. I prefer to remove basting threads after my project is done. I don't like to leave them in, but I heard like some people, they'll just leave them in. So I think it depends on what color you use and if it's gonna see through, show through to the top after you remove the paper. So those are things that you might want to consider when you thread baste. Are you gonna leave the threads in or not? Then you kind of want to pay attention to the color of the thread you use. And I just like to use older thread or thread color that I'm not maybe gonna use because I'm gonna remove it anyway. But nowadays, like I said, I glue baste more than thread basting. See, Nancy, that's one good perk of thread basting. We don't get sticky fingers when you thread baste. And Roberta said, glue seems so much easier. Yeah, it definitely is quicker and easier. That's why I think I like glue basting. And Roberta's joining us from North Carolina. Hello! Nancy shares the pants emoji because that's where we wipe our glue. Oh, also, this is a good question. So Melissa asked, oops, I clicked on that. Have you ever stitched through the paper while basting? Personally, no. I don't want to do it because imagine punching it through the paper for each stitch. So I'm going to show you, like, you have to put much more power into it, stitching through the paper. I don't know, you guys can tell me here in the comments, those that do stitch through the paper, your reasoning behind it. I don't see why it would be necessary unless you're doing really big pieces. Where see how this one, you can already see how it gaps a little bit here, right? Like so, because I just traveled with the thread versus the glue basting pieces, the fabric just stays flat right to the paper. The thread basted ones, they kind of poof up a little bit, but you just give it a good press and then you're good to go. So I don't think you necessarily need to stitch through the paper unless you're going for the bigger pieces where this floppy piece is gonna flop too much and the paper will just pop out. Because yeah, then that would kind of make me sad too if I'd done all the work and then the paper starts popping out before I'm even done sewing them together. So I would go for bigger pieces. You probably want to stitch through the paper, maybe 1 or 2 basting stitches in between. But personally, I would rather glue baste at that point because it's a lot of energy, like finger power. You have to put into like punch that cardstock each time. If you're doing thinner paper, yeah, it'd probably be easier. But remember, we want to save our finger power, finger energy for the actual stitching the pieces together, right? So that's my reasoning for not punching through the paper. Let's see. Oh, see? Yeah, so Nancy uses a neutral color thread for everything and basting too. Then you could just leave it in and it won't show through, right? Yeah. See, yeah, this was what we want to take into consideration. You don't want to use dark basting stitches, basting thread for lighter, like let's say white fabric. I wouldn't want to use this red or black because then once I take the papers out, it'll shadow through to the front. So then you would need to remove all the basting stitches. Let's see. And Rhonda said, could you show the thread basting again? Okay. And Carolyn said, I use a light medium gray thread for basting. I do most of my thread basting in bed watching TV. Oh, that's nice too. And Carolyn does some beautiful EPP. So you should all check it out in the EPP Society. Yes. Okay, so we can do one more of this. Let me undo this one. And then I can just remove it. This is how I would remove it if I was done with the project too, and just going back to remove my basting stitches. And we just cut the thread. So I used to do a lot of garment sewing, and then we used 100% we would be using polyester thread. But those threads, they're different weight, so I just use them for thread basting now, which comes in handy since I don't sew a whole lot of garments anymore. Let me grab another piece of red thread. There we go, pre-cut piece. Very good. I'm gonna take my glasses off so I can see while I'm threading this needle. Don't laugh. I'm doing this live. It's very nerve-wracking. Leave me alone. Let's see. Oh, I got it. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, let's see. I just do a knot there on the end. Got my glasses back on. We're ready for action. So I'm gonna fold one side over and fold the next side over, and I got the little corner, whoops, got the corner there, and coming up about 1/8 of an inch away from the fold and coming up 1/8 of an inch from the fold ish, like so, and go through next to it. You don't need to go through the same stitch area. You can just go down right next to it, fold, and fold the next side. And do one more. And keep on going. Carolyn, you still glue based like round pieces though, right? Even though you thread based straight sided templates, or do you thread based like rounded shapes too? Let's see, like so. And the replay will be here in the group too, so you can always go back and watch here in the group and also on my YouTube channel. So you have options. And one more stitch. And there we're done. So here I can just cut this with the little tail and just leave it. I don't even need to knot this end part. Okay? that. So we got thread basted and glue basted. So I could come here and just make sure to press my little seams here so they don't fold up and they're nice and crisp. Like that. So now it lays a little flatter. And this is a face massage roller. But it works like a little, finger press. Same concept. So I can massage my face and do EPP at the same time. Oh, see, Katrine's smart. She uses the machine to thread. Yes, I have my little... Oh, yeah, it was here in the corner. But I thought it would be faster. Like, I can do it. For my connecting pieces, I use a mix, Janine. I like to use either this one, Superior Threads, which is 100% polyester, and it's Superior Threads bottom line, and this one's 60 weight. And I also like Orifil, which is 100% cotton and 50 weight. So definitely options. Let's see. Right? Yeah, my needle threader was here on the side. But I was like, I can do it. Challenge accepted. Let's see. Let me scroll down, make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, Roberta asked, is it necessary to put holes in the center of your paper pieces? I see many that do this. Okay, I have thoughts. You can do papers with holes in them in the center. That's what she's talking about. Like Carolyn uses papers with holes. It's good if you thread based. If you glue based, I would not recommend papers with holes. Point being is that when you have papers with holes, after you're done basting, you could go in with the crochet hook or something sharp and just basically you would pop it in there and then pop your papers out like so, right? And that works fine when you're thread basting. If you're glue basting, I don't want you to pull on your papers before you release the sides. After you've sewn shapes together, don't go in and just try to yank the paper out, because that's going to make your seam allowances unravel. What you want to do is actually lift up all the seams and then pop the papers out. So having papers with holes, if you're glue basting, I think, yeah, it's not necessary, or even I wouldn't recommend it, because you want to lift it all up like this and then pop it out, right? If I just yanked it out like I did with the thread basted version, then it would pull on my seam allowances. Let's see. I think I missed something. Salsa, are you laughing at me? Or with me? Okay, Nancy said, I think people basting through papers probably use thinner paper than cardstock to sew through easier, like computer paper or phone book pages. Yeah, it would definitely save your hands, save your hand muscles, and don't try to pierce through cardstock if you're thread basting. Do it minimally if you can at all, because yeah, sooner or later you're gonna end up with this like crazy claw hands, and you're like, why doesn't it go through? Why are my hands hurting? And you want to save your hands. They're your most valuable asset when it comes to hand sewing. You want to save them for the sewing part, right? And Carolyn said, I thread based almost everything. Some of your tiny advent pieces I did end up glue basting. I know some itsy bitsy pieces, they're hard to thread baste, right? They just won't stay. Yeah, so that makes sense. Yes, here we go. Roberta, the holes help pin paper. Oh, and so people like to pin. Yeah, I've only seen it for people that want to pop the papers out, but that makes sense too, Nancy, to actually use a pin instead of a little bit of glue to make it stay, right? Nancy, if you ever get a chance, you should post a picture of one of your basted pieces with the hole, and if you, I don't know if you do pin them through the hole, that would be great too for all our newer members that are new to English paper piecing to see that they got an option of doing that as well. I prick myself on needles, so I try to like avoid, even when I sew garments or anything else, I try to avoid needles, those little, what are they called? To hold pieces together, because I end up pricking myself. And then I end up with little blood spots, and then, that's not fun. So I like to just sew it without pinning stuff, if I can. But then nowadays we got like these nifty little clover clips, right? So no risk of pinning yourself. But these, obviously, you wouldn't be able to pin a paper to a fabric piece. Yeah, so I mean, I think there's a use for punching the holes, but if you're gonna glue paste, then yeah, you don't need the holes. Ta-da! Now you can make more hexies. And Brenda asked, is there a recommended paper for templates? Yes, I recommend this one. This is the one I recommend to everyone. The card that I even saved a link for you. Because everybody asks, which paper? And then I always recommend this one. And if you're in a country that doesn't carry this brand, or it's like obnoxiously expensive, then stick to 65 to 67 pound or 176-ish GSM paper cardstock. Let's see. Yes, Nancy, please do. That is always super duper helpful. Let's see. See, Nancy uses 65-pound cardstock. It's really nice. This is what this paper is too. Not too thick, not too thin, just perfect. Right. So I hope all our newer English paper piecers will try these out. And then if you need downloadable hexies, go to my website, and then, well, I'll put it in here. Then you can get access to the hexagon diamond quilt along that we did here in the group. Oops. And that way you don't have to invest in buying paper templates first. You can try these. Just download them, cut out the size you want to play with a few, experiment with glue basting and thread basting, see what you like, and then we can play from there. Right? See? Yes, I knew Salsa would have the right words. 65-pound is the Goldilocks weight if you glue paste. Yes, I agree. Yes, or you can try ordering shapes from paper pieces after. Just try the free download, play with it, experiment, see what size you like. You got, I think I have 3 sizes in the free downloads in the hexagon diamond link that I shared here. And then after you sign up, you'll get a link with your login and password, so you can just log in and then get the downloads and the coloring pages too, so you can play. And let's see, do we have any other questions? Oh, index cards are really nice card weight too. Yes. And Rodian cuts her and hole punches, pin to fabric, thread base, and do not remove basting. Love it. See, there's lots of different options. So especially if you're new, if anyone ever tells you do this or that, then don't listen. Try them all and see what you like. If you don't try, you won't know what you prefer. That's my logic. Oh, you're so welcome, Facebook user. Yay! I'll log into the group later so I can see whose name this was. Oh, yes, 110-pound is quite stiff. You can still use it, but definitely don't try to sew through 110-pound cardstock. You're just gonna notice that when you have a lot of shapes sewn together, it's gonna be stiffer with the thicker the cardstock is. So this one is quite flexible. And always remember, when you're working on something, you can always bend your cardstock. I see too many beginners, they try to make their cardstock stay unfolded or unbent, pristine. But I'm like, no. When you're sewing something, and if you need to get in at a particular angle, then just fold the dang thing. And then sew comfortably, and then unfold it. And you can always press it to reuse it. So 110-pound, it's a little bit thick, but if you have some, just use it, and then next time you can try thinner cardstock. I think that's it. All right, so now I'm gonna think about what we can do to celebrate our 25K plus members in the EPP Society. I'll think of something. If you have any ideas too, let me know. I have some ideas, so I'll share them in the group. All right, so that's gonna wrap up today's live, and I'll see you here next week again. If there's anything that comes up in the group that I think will be useful for everyone, I'll try to pick that out. If there's anything you would like me to cover on these lives, give me suggestions too. Maybe I should start like a suggestion box. I think that might be helpful, right? So I'll think about that. Oh yes, oh, big one. Do not use color card. Yes. It'll discolor your fabrics. We don't want that. If it ever gets a little moist or damp or some type of water droplet falls on it, it'll discolor your fabric. So do not use colored card. Thank you for remembering that warning, Zaza. All right, so I will see you all next Tuesday, and I'll see you inside the Facebook group too. Bye!